Hi and welcome back to my channel. So I'm scratching around in some of my past craft supplies. Now, when I say past, I mean like many years ago. Oh gosh, this would have been how many years ago? Probably 20 years ago. Yeah, it'd have to be 20 years ago. But I scratched out some things that I could use with journaling. So I found a whole thing of tag shapes, which will be really cool. And look at all these tags. So no idea what company they even came from. Pages, that's called, templates. Scrap Pizzazz. Yeah. So that, I don't even know whether those companies even run anymore. Mini envelopes. And the plastic sort of, even that's how old they are, the plastic's gone all discoloured. Here's some more tags. This one was from, oh, here we go. Paper Pizzazz as well, hot off the press. This one is looks like probably a cheap shop one, but I like the wavy lines on that. And I like these journal things. You could make them into little journal cards, couldn't you? It's got little birds and things on it. So they're the ones I picked up for journaling, but I've got a heap load of other stencils in there. Quite, old-fashioned type stencils as well. But what I wanted to show you today was back in the day when my kids were, I would have been, oh gosh, this would have been probably 30 years ago. Isn't that bad? That's really showing my age. What I did, because I didn't have access to a computer, I had access to a photocopier, and I made all my own stencils. Now, I didn't use these for colouring as such, where, these stencils were all used for embossing. So, I'll show you one. I'll just show you. There's a whole box of them there. Now, what I used to do, I've got my little light pad here, and then what I would do was put, if I turn all the lights out, you might be able to see better. Okay, so what I would do was turn my light pad on, and I didn't have this back in the day. This is I've only had this for a few years. Back in the day, my husband built me a box that had a slope upwards. It was a box from the fruit shop, and he, because he worked in a fruit shop, and he put a light in it for me and a perspex top, because one of the specialty fruits came with a perspex top, and he brought it home for me, and he made me a light box, and that's what I used for years with all these stencils. But I didn't use them as stencils as such. I used them as embossed stencils, and I'll show you in a minute. So what I would do was, I had a pattern which I'd traced out of something, or seen somewhere, or drawn it myself, or whatever, and I would put that down on the light box, and then I would come in, and then you can see the pattern underneath, and I would trace it. Okay, and then I would cut it out. So that's what I did for years and years and years. I'll just turn this off and put my lights back on. So I just sat there forever cutting stencils. And this is how excuse me, this is how I decorated my cards. I used this one a lot, and this one, I loved these ones. They were very popular. I used to use them all the time. I remember using that one. And so I just made all these stencils. I loved this beautiful one. I remember using that one. You know, there was ones I used more than others, but I found them all in the storage bay. There's just hours and hours of cutting out time in this. I loved this one. So I'm going to just show you today what what I used to do. I loved this one. I used that one a bit. And this one, that was beautiful. So many I cut out. Oh, I cut out so many. So yeah, this was before the days of all the fang dangles. You know, all the machinery that you can get now. So I'm just thinking, you know, how can I use these today? A lot of them I did on, like you can see they're on a shiny. Can you see the shiny side? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, some of them I've done on one shiny side, one not. There's just so many. I don't know what I was thinking. So many. This one was beautiful. Loved using that one. So I thought I'll dig them out and show you how obsessed I was. That's probably more to the point. How obsessed I was with it. So yeah, these would have been easy 30 years ago. It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. I liked that one. So there's so many. Christmas ones. See, that was just on, I don't even know what sort of cardboard that was. I know it had a sort of a semi-shiny finish to them. That looks like I did that with scissors. Some of those fancy scissors. They were probably my first things that I had. And then there's just bits and pieces and oh gosh. So yeah, that's a real treasure trove to open up, isn't it? See what's in there. And then it looks like I've done the well, they were all A5 size. And it looks like I've even done bigger ones. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to show you how I used to use these stencils back in the day. And I mean, I don't know whether it's got any use to anyone nowadays. But, look, if you haven't got a computer, I mean, I suppose you're not going to be watching this if you haven't got a computer. But if you haven't got access to things, you know, this is how it was done back in the day. So I've just got a piece of card, and we didn't even have washi tape back then, so come on. We didn't even have washi tape. So I'm just going to bring my light, I'll turn these lights back down. I'm going to bring my light pad back in. put that down on there. Like, aren't we lucky to have all this stuff these days? And then stick that down onto my light pad. So I've just got an embossing tool here, and it's not the tiniest end, it's a little bit bigger. I've got a whole range size of these. They're just not at my fingertips at the moment. I was having a look for them, but yeah, I've got the whole size of them. So what then you do is you can see your pattern through the light pad. So you just use a embossing tool, or your stylus, they used to be called back in the day, and you would just go around the pattern just nice and slowly, so you don't poke a hole through it, because if your stylus was too small like this end, you would poke a hole through the card and start again. But just go nice and slowly, and just you're almost just pressing the fibers down in the paper, and you'll get this embossed, beautiful embossed front, like an embossed folder. You know, these were the old-fashioned embossed folders. Yeah, stuff like this. That's all we had. So let's see how this one turns out. I know it will turn out beautiful because I used to use this one a lot. So yeah, just pushing those fibers down. And I guess with this sort of thing, you know, it lacked a lot of, you know, you couldn't put the colour on, you couldn't do all that sort of thing that you can do with a plastic emboss folder these days. But look, if I had have taken the time, which would have been quite expensive back then, to cut it all on stencil film, I could have done any of that with it. So but I only cut out what I had on me at the time and what I had access to, which was card. So this is what I would call slow card making. Yeah, you call slow stitching, slow everything these days. This is slow card making. Of course, sometimes you forget a little bit on it, or you make sure you've got it all before you lift it up. Slow card making. Let's take our time. No rush. But hey, if you don't have if you've got stencils and you don't have an emboss machine or whatever, you can totally do it like this. Old school, slow card making. And I'll just check to see if I've got everything. I'm just going to hold it up to my light to see if I've got all the bits. Alright, we'll turn this off and turn my lights back on. Take it off the board. You can see the indent here of what I've done. And then when I take it off this side, you have a beautiful embossed front. Hope you can see that in the light. Now it can be quite subtle compared to a lot of these 3D emboss things these days. They can go quite deep. You know, if my card was deep, that would go deeper. So, but that's how it works. And then I would, back in the day, put that up onto a card front, and then I would put my focal point in the middle here. And it might be a stamp, it might be whatever I was putting on it that day, so that you had that subtle embossed border and your focal point and probably just some words. Yeah, so that's how I used to do it, and it was quite yeah, quite a very subtle look, but just enough to make it just enough to lift your card and make it look just that little bit more professional or well done. So that's a little look at my stencils, my back in the day stencils. I think I'm pretty sure when I did this one, I got a little Q-tip and some chalks, and I would just touch the, the edges of the or after I'd done it, just to give it a little bit of colour. That's the only way I think I used to colour these things back in the day. So where'd I put that other piece of card? Let's do one more. I'll turn my lights back down. Got some pretty strong lights here, and they do make the camera jump around a bit. Alright, let's, you can see the edge there. Flip that over and we can see through our pattern there. And remember to use the bigger, don't use a tiny little tip. Use, well, this one would be, where's my ruler? This one would be at least 1, 2, 3 millimeter tip. So just press in here. So we've done our slow embossing. Get these lights turned back on. Take it off our thing, and you can see then you've got a nice little border across the front of your card. Some stuff on there, but that's what they were. That's what we did with them back in the day. That's how we used them. That's how we had fun. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that little look or a blast from the past. I was actually looking for, at the time, I was looking for some fabric that I had in a box, and all my stencil box was on top. So I couldn't help but have a little look in there at all this stuff, and I thought, well, I'll get on and I'll show you, because I don't think I've ever got on camera and shown all these stencils. Yeah, I don't think I have, because when I started to get on YouTube, I had the Cuttlebug and other things. So this is pre-Cuttlebug. This is like, yeah, this is like old. And while I was there, I found these stencils too. Some clouds and some grass that I'd made. So I'll keep them out. They'll come in handy for things. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that little look into the past. And, if you've got stencils, that's one way of using them. That's one way of using them. but I thought I would just get on and show you what I used to do with them and how I used to use them. Oh gosh, I'm trying to get out of a make funk, so bear with me. Yeah, just come along for the chat. Love it if you'd leave a comment and just say hello. Just trying to grow my channel again and just put up what I love doing or I'm enjoying doing at the time. So I will catch you again real soon. Bye.